Captain Jake Morrison stared at the massive alien structure floating in the void before his ship. The USS Horizon had been exploring the outer reaches of the Kepler 442 system for 3 weeks, when they discovered this abandoned station orbiting a dead planet. The structure was unlike anything humans had ever seen before, with twisted metal spires that seemed to bend space around them. "Captain, I'm reading no life signs aboard that station," reported Lieutenant Danny Clark from the sensor. "Station." His voice carried a mixture of excitement and fear that Jake had heard many times during first contact situations. "But there's still power running through some sections." Jake nodded slowly as he studied the alien architecture through the main view screen. After 40 years of space exploration, humanity had encountered dozens of alien species, but this design was completely new. The station's hull was covered in symbols that seemed to shift and change when he wasn't looking directly at them. "Dr. Lisa Parker to the bridge," Jake said into his communicator. Within minutes, the ship's chief science officer arrived, her eyes immediately drawn to the alien station. Lisa had studied xenobiology for 15 years and had seen more alien technology than almost anyone in the human fleet. Her expression told Jake that this discovery was significant. "That's not from any species in our database," Lisa said, moving to the science station. "The energy patterns are completely different from anything we've cataloged. Captain, this could be a major breakthrough in understanding galactic civilizations." Jake made his decision quickly. "Prepare a boarding party. I want a full team over there within the hour." He turned to his communications officer. "Send a message to Earth. Command, tell them we've found something they need to know about." 2 hours later, Jake led a team of 6 specialists through the airlock into the alien station. The artificial gravity was lighter than Earth normal, and the air was breathable but carried a strange metallic taste. Emergency lighting cast eerie shadows down corridors that were clearly designed for beings much taller than humans. The team moved carefully through the station, their equipment scanning everything they encountered. The walls were covered in those shifting symbols, and Lisa's translation computer was working overtime trying to decode their meaning. Most of the station appeared to have been abandoned in a hurry, with equipment left running and doors standing. "Open! Captain, you need to see this," called out Sergeant Mike Torres from down the corridor. Jake and Lisa hurried to where Torres was standing in front of a massive display screen. The screen showed what appeared to be a star map, with thousands of points of light connected by flowing lines. Lisa connected her portable computer to the alien system and began downloading data. "This is incredible," she whispered as information flooded her screen. "This map shows galactic trade routes, military positions, and—" She paused, her face growing pale. "Captain, there are files here about Earth." Jake felt his blood turn cold. "What kind of files?" Lisa's fingers flew over her keyboard as she accessed more data. "Military assessments, population studies, resource surveys. Someone has been watching us very closely." She pulled up a 3-dimensional model of Earth that showed every major city, military base, and industrial center. "This intelligence is incredibly detailed and recent." The team spent the next 6 hours downloading everything they could from the alien computers. What they discovered painted a terrifying picture of humanity's situation in the galaxy. The station belonged to something called the Valtharian Empire, a massive alien civilization that viewed humans as a dangerous species that needed to be eliminated. "Listen to this," Lisa said, translating one of the files. "Humans reproduce too quickly and adapt too easily to new environments. Their aggressive nature and technological advancement rate make them a threat to galactic stability. Recommendation: complete elimination before they can spread beyond their home system." Jake felt his stomach drop as Lisa continued reading. The file is dated 6 months ago. It recommends beginning what they call Project Cleansing within 2 years. She looked up at Jake with frightened eyes. "Captain, they're planning to wipe out our entire species." The boarding team worked frantically to copy as much information as possible before returning to the Horizon. Jake immediately sent an encrypted message to Admiral Rick Turner at Earth Defense Command, marking it with the highest priority codes. While they waited for a response, Lisa continued analyzing the alien data. The Valtharian Empire controls over 300 star systems, she reported to Jake in his ready room. They have a military force that numbers in the millions of ships. According to these files, they consider humans to be primitives who got lucky with space travel. Jake studied the tactical assessments that Lisa had translated. The aliens had detailed information about every human military installation, every ship in the fleet, and every defensive system Earth possessed. Or at least they thought they did. What's interesting, Lisa continued, is that some of their intelligence seems outdated or incomplete. They think our newest battleships are still using fusion drives, but we've had antimatter propulsion for 5 years. They also believe our maximum weapons range is much shorter than it actually is. Admiral Turner's response arrived 12 hours later, and it was not what Jake expected. Instead of panic or emergency deployment orders, the message simply said, "Return to Earth immediately. Tell no one about this discovery except your boarding team. Protocol 7 is now active." Jake had been in the Earth Defense Force for 20 years, but he had never heard of Protocol 7. As the Horizon began its journey back to Earth, he wondered what other secrets his own government had been keeping. During the 3-week journey home, Lisa continued studying the alien files. She discovered that the Valtharian survey of human space had been going on for over 30 years. They had been watching humanity's expansion into space, cataloging their weapons and defenses, and waiting for the right moment to strike. "They've been incredibly thorough," Lisa told Jake as they approached Earth orbit. "But Captain, I think they may have made a mistake. Some of the military installations they've identified don't match anything in our public records. It's like they were fed false information." When the Horizon docked at Luna Station, Jake and his team were immediately escorted to a secure briefing room where Admiral Turner was waiting. The Admiral was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes who had served in the Defense Force for 40 years. He listened carefully as Jake and Lisa presented their findings. "Excellent work," Admiral Turner said when they finished their report. "You've confirmed what we've suspected for quite some time." He activated a holographic display that showed the same galactic map they had found on the alien station, but with additional information overlaid. "Ladies and gentlemen," Admiral Turner said, "welcome to Protocol 7. For the past 40 years, Earth has been preparing for exactly this scenario. The Valtharians aren't the first species to consider humanity a threat, and they won't be the last." Jake stared at the Admiral in amazement. "Sir, are you saying we knew about this threat?" Turner smiled grimly. "Captain Morrison, humanity has been preparing for galactic war since the day we first detected alien radio signals. The question was never if someone would try to destroy us, but when and how we would respond." Director Susan Walsh stood in the center of the most classified facility on Earth, watching dozens of screens that showed alien ships moving through deep space toward the solar system. The Valtharian fleet had been traveling for 8 months. Now, and every day brought them closer to what they believed would be an easy victory over humanity. Susan had spent her entire career in intelligence work, but nothing had prepared her for Operation Looking Glass. Her job was to make Earth appear completely defenseless while humanity's real military prepared for the greatest battle in human history. Every fake distress signal, every staged military exercise, every piece of false information had to be perfect. "The aliens just intercepted our latest communication," reported Agent Tom Baker from his console. "Earth Defense Command is supposedly in complete panic about the approaching fleet." He smiled as he spoke, knowing that the real Earth Defense Command was operating from hidden bunkers 3 miles underground. Colonel Alex Thompson walked into the command center carrying a tablet filled with reports from around the world. His teams had been working for months to create the illusion that humanity was unprepared for war. Military bases that had been secretly relocated were left standing empty but still appeared active from orbit. Fake weapon systems were installed in obvious locations while the real defenses remained hidden. "The decoy installations are working perfectly," Alex reported to Susan. "Alien reconnaissance drones have photographed our fake missile sites at least 50 times in the past week. They think they know exactly where all our defenses are located. Susan nodded as she studied the tactical display. The Valtharian fleet was massive, with over 50,000 ships of various sizes. Their lead vessels would reach the outer solar system in just 4 months. Everything had to be ready by then. Engineer Katie Roberts entered the command center with news about humanity's real preparations. For the past 15 years, she had been overseeing the construction of orbital defense platforms that were disguised as asteroids and space debris. These hidden fortresses contained weapons powerful enough to destroy entire fleets, but from the outside they looked like harmless rocks floating in space. The final platform came online this morning, Katie announced. We now have 367 hidden installations throughout the solar system. Each one is invisible to Valtharian sensors and armed with our most advanced weapons. Dr. Nathan Brooks joined them with an update on the alien technology research. His laboratory had been studying captured Valtharian equipment for over 20 years, long before the aliens knew humans were aware of their existence. The breakthrough his team had made 6 months ago would determine the outcome of the coming war. We've confirmed that all Valtharian ships use the same energy frequency for their shields and communication systems, Nathan explained. Our weapons are now tuned to disrupt that specific frequency. When the battle begins, their shields will fail and their ships won't be able to coordinate with each other. Physicist Amy Johnson had worked alongside Nathan to create weapons that could exploit this weakness. Her research team had developed energy cannons, missile warheads, and even handheld weapons that could penetrate Valtharian defenses. The aliens had no idea that their own technology had been turned against them. The disruption field generators are installed on every human vessel and defense platform, Amy reported. The moment we activate them, the entire Valtharian fleet will be blind and defenseless. They'll never know what hit them. Captain Steve Wilson commanded humanity's secret stealth fleet, ships that had been built in hidden shipyards throughout the outer solar system. His vessels used advanced cloaking technology that made them completely invisible to alien sensors. For months, his crews had been practicing attack patterns against holographic simulations of Valtharian ships. My pilots are ready, Steve told the assembled commanders. We've run over 1,000 training missions and every crew knows their role in the battle plan. The aliens won't detect us until we're already destroying their ships. Meanwhile, on the surface of Earth, the deception continued. President Linda Carter gave speeches that were broadcast throughout the galaxy, speeches that painted humanity as a peaceful species that wanted nothing more than to be left alone. Her words were carefully crafted to make the Valtharians believe that humans would surrender without a real fight. We are a young species, Linda said in one broadcast that was intercepted by alien intelligence. We do not seek conflict with our galactic neighbors. If the great Valtharian Empire wishes to rule over Earth, we will consider their terms. The speech was pure theater designed to make the aliens overconfident. High Commander Zethkar, leader of the Valtharian invasion fleet, read the human transmissions with satisfaction. His intelligence reports confirmed what he had always believed. Humans were a weak species that had gotten lucky with space travel. Their military was primitive. Their weapons were outdated and their leaders were already talking about surrender. Reduce our alert status to level 2, Zethkar ordered his fleet commanders. The humans are already beaten and we haven't even arrived yet. This will be a demonstration of Valtharian power, not a real battle. This was exactly what Susan Walsh and her team had hoped for. Every piece of false information they had fed to the aliens was working perfectly. The Valtharians were approaching Earth in loose formation, confident that they faced no real threat, Dr. Lisa Parker continued. Her work translating alien communications from the hidden listening posts throughout the solar system. The intercepted messages revealed that the Valtharian commanders were treating the invasion like a training exercise. They planned to capture Earth's major cities intact to use as examples for other species that might resist Valtharian expansion. They're discussing which human cities to destroy first, Lisa reported during a briefing. They want to make it look impressive for their propaganda broadcasts. They have no idea that we can hear every word they say. As the alien fleet drew closer, the final preparations were completed. Families were evacuated from major cities, but the evacuations were disguised as normal population movements. The real military forces took their positions in the hidden bases, while fake military units remained visible in the decoy installations. Susan Walsh watched the countdown timer on her main screen. 3 months until the Valtharian fleet reached Earth orbit. 3 months until humanity would reveal that they had been preparing for this war longer than the aliens had been planning it. The greatest deception in galactic history was almost complete. And soon the Valtharians would learn that underestimating humanity was a fatal mistake that they would not survive to regret. The Valtharian fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system exactly as their battle plans predicted. High Commander Zethkar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Conquest, watching as his 50,000 ships spread throughout human space. Everything appeared exactly as his intelligence reports had promised. Earth hung before them like a blue jewel, completely undefended except for a handful of primitive orbital stations. The human military forces were scattered and disorganized, just as the projections had indicated. Zethkar allowed himself a moment of satisfaction as he prepared to deliver the killing blow to yet another inferior species. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission from the human government," reported his communications officer. "Their leader wishes to address you directly." On the main screen, President Linda Carter appeared, her face showing the perfect mixture of fear and desperate hope that Zethkar expected from a defeated enemy. She sat behind a simple desk with the Earth flag visible behind her, looking every inch the leader of a doomed world. "Great Commander of the Valtharian Empire," Linda began, her voice trembling slightly. "Humanity recognizes your superior power and wishes to discuss terms for our surrender. We are a peaceful species that never intended to threaten your great civilization. Please show mercy to our people." Zethkar smiled as he listened to the pathetic plea. This was even easier than he had hoped. The humans were ready to surrender. Before the battle had even begun, he decided to make their defeat a lesson that would echo throughout the galaxy. "Human leader," Zethkar replied, his voice carrying the authority of a species that had conquered hundreds of worlds. "Your surrender is noted but not accepted. The Valtharian Empire has decreed that your species is too dangerous to be allowed to survive. Your destruction will serve as an example to others who might challenge our rule." Linda Carter's face showed exactly the right amount of despair as she received this news. Unknown to the aliens, she was sitting in a heavily protected bunker 3 miles beneath the surface of Earth, surrounded by the real command staff of humanity's military forces. Every word, every expression had been carefully rehearsed. The Valtharian fleet began moving toward Earth, spreading out to attack multiple targets simultaneously. Zethkar ordered his ships to take positions around the major population centers, planning to broadcast the destruction of human cities throughout the galaxy as a demonstration of Valtharian might. Admiral Rick Turner watched the alien deployment from his hidden command center buried deep beneath the Colorado mountains. Everything was proceeding exactly as humanity had hoped. The aliens were spreading their forces thin, confident in their superiority and completely unaware of the trap they were walking into. "All stations report ready," announced Commander Helen Davis from her position at the tactical console. Hidden throughout the solar system, 367 disguised defense platforms powered up their weapon systems while remaining invisible to alien sensors. The first phase of the battle began when Valtharian ships opened fire on Earth's major cities. Their energy beams lanced down from orbit, targeting government buildings, military installations, and population centers. But something strange happened as their weapons approached their targets. "Sir, our weapons are malfunctioning," reported a Valtharian gunnery officer to his ship's captain. "The energy beams are losing coherence before they reach the surface." Similar reports came from ships throughout the fleet. Their most powerful weapons were failing at the critical moment. Reduced to harmless light shows that barely scorched the ground, Dr. Nathan Brooks' frequency disruptors, hidden in Earth's Atmosphere. Were doing their job perfectly. High Commander Zethkar frowned as he received reports of weapon failures from across his fleet. This was unexpected but not necessarily alarming. Technical problems happened in every military operation, and the humans certainly couldn't be responsible for sophisticated electronic warfare. Switch to secondary weapon systems, Zethkar ordered, and dispatch repair teams to determine the cause of these malfunctions. Commander Tony Baker had been waiting in his hidden position on the lunar surface for this exact moment. His railgun installation, disguised as a mining operation, had been tracking Valtharian ships since they entered the solar system. When the alien vessels began having weapon problems, Tony knew it was time to begin the counterattack. "Target the isolated cruiser in Sector 7, Tony commanded his gun crews. "Fire when ready." The railgun launched a projectile incredible speed, striking the Valtharian cruiser amidships and tearing it apart in a brilliant explosion. The alien crew never knew what hit them, and their fleet commanders assumed it was another technical malfunction. Throughout the solar system, similar accidents began happening to isolated alien ships. Hidden railguns, disguised laser installations, and camouflaged missile batteries opened fire on targets of opportunity. Each attack was carefully planned to look like either a technical failure or minor human resistance. Lieutenant Grace Miller sat in the cockpit of her fighter, one of humanity's most closely guarded secrets. Her ship used hybrid technology that combined human engineering with captured alien systems, making it faster and more maneuverable than anything in the Valtharian fleet. Her squadron had been waiting behind a large asteroid for the perfect moment to strike. "Lightning Squadron, this is Lightning 1, Grace announced to her pilots. "We have 6 alien patrol ships moving through the asteroid belt. Let's show them what human pilots can do." The human fighters burst from their hiding place and attacked the Valtharian patrol with devastating effectiveness. Grace's weapons tore through alien shields as if they weren't there, while her ship danced around the enemy's return fire with impossible agility. Within minutes, all 6 alien ships were destroyed. "Make it look accidental," Grace reminded her pilots as they prepared to withdraw. "We want them to think they stumbled into a minefield or hit some space debris." High Commander Zethkar was beginning to feel concerned as reports of losses continued to reach his flagship. Over 200 ships had been destroyed or damaged in the past 6 hours, all from apparent accidents or minor human resistance. His fleet was supposed to be invincible, yet they were losing vessels to a species they had dismissed as primitive. "Sir, I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout the solar system," reported his sensor operator. "It appears there are installations we didn't know about." Zethkar moved to the sensor station and studied the readings. What he saw made his blood run cold. Hundreds of energy sources were powering up throughout human space, sources that hadn't appeared on any of their reconnaissance scans. Somehow, the humans had hidden an entire military infrastructure. Captain Jake Morrison chose that moment to reveal himself and his battle group. The ships that the aliens had dismissed as civilian transports suddenly dropped their disguises, revealing themselves as heavily armed human dreadnoughts. Jake opened a communication channel to the Valtharian flagship. "High Commander Zethkar," Jake said, his voice calm and confident. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earth Defense Force. You wanted to test humanity's strength. Congratulations, you've passed our test too. Now you get to see what we're really capable of." Admiral Rick Turner stood before the massive tactical display in his underground command center, watching as humanity's true strength finally revealed itself to the galaxy. With a single command, he activated every hidden installation that had been built over the past 40 years. The solar system suddenly blazed with energy signatures that the Valtharian fleet had never imagined could exist. "All Infinity stations are now online," reported Colonel Beth Sanders from her position at the Defense Coordination Console. Around the solar system, massive automated platforms that had been disguised as asteroids and space debris for decades suddenly came to life. Their weapon systems powered up while swarms of hunter-killer drones launched from hidden bays. High Commander Zethkar watched in horror as his sensors revealed the truth about human space. What his intelligence had told him was an empty solar system defended by primitive weapons was actually the most heavily fortified system in the galaxy. Hundreds of installations that could destroy entire fleets had been hidden in plain sight. How is this possible? Zethkar demanded of his intelligence officers. Our surveys showed no major military installations beyond their home planet. His chief analyst, a tall alien with 4 arms and glowing eyes, studied the incoming data with growing alarm. Commander, it appears every installation we cataloged was a decoy. The real human military has been completely invisible to our sensors. Doctor. Lisa Parker sat in the communication center aboard the USS Horizon, preparing to deliver the message that would change galactic history forever. For months, she had been working with the intelligence teams to craft the perfect revelation that would show the aliens exactly how badly they had miscalculated. This is Dr. Lisa Parker of the Human Defense Research Division, she broadcast on all Valtharian communication frequencies. High Commander Zethkar, your Empire has made a fundamental error in your assessment of our species. We detected your surveillance operations 37 years ago and have been feeding you false information ever since. The words hit the Valtharian command staff like physical blows. Everything they thought they knew about humanity had been deliberately planted misinformation. Their entire invasion plan was based on lies that the humans had crafted specifically to lure them into this trap. Every human weakness your spies discovered was created for your benefit, Lisa continued. Every military installation you photographed was a decoy built to convince you that we were helpless. Every communication you intercepted was designed to bring your fleet here so we could destroy it. Captain Danny Ross commanded the battleship Defiance, humanity's most advanced warship that had been built in complete secrecy using alien materials harvested from decades of covert operations. His ship had been disguised as a civilian transport until this moment, when it finally revealed its true nature to the galaxy. The Defiance was 1 kilometer long and packed with weapons that could penetrate any known defense system. Its armor was made from materials taken from 12 different alien species, and its power core used technology that was years ahead of anything the Valtharians possessed. All weapons online, reported the Defiance's tactical officer. Target locks confirmed on the Valtharian flagship. Danny smiled as he gave the order that would demonstrate human superiority. Fire all forward batteries. The Defiance unleashed a barrage of energy beams and projectile weapons that struck the Eternal Conquest with devastating force. The alien flagship's shields, which were supposed to be impenetrable, collapsed instantly under the assault. Secondary explosions rippled across the massive vessel as its own weapons and power systems overloaded. Engineer Maya Foster revealed another surprise that the aliens had never suspected. From her position in the hidden monitoring station on Mars, she activated systems that had been infiltrating Valtharian networks for over 20 years. Every communication the alien fleet had sent back to their home empire had been monitored, and, when necessary, altered. Attention Valtharian fleet, Maya broadcast. Your empire believes this invasion is proceeding perfectly because we have been editing your status reports. Every message you sent describing your progress was changed. Before it reached your homeworld, they think you are winning. High Commander Zethkar felt his confidence crumble as he realized the full scope of human deception. Not only had they been lured into a trap, but their own empire didn't even know they were in danger. No rescue fleet would be coming because no one knew they needed rescue. The hunter-killer drones from the Infinity Stations swarmed through the Valtharian fleet like angry insects. Each drone was small and fast, designed specifically to exploit weaknesses in alien ship designs. They attached themselves to enemy vessels and began systematically destroying critical systems. Captain Steve Wilson's stealth fleet chose this moment to reveal themselves. His ships had been following the Valtharian fleet since they entered the solar system, invisible to all sensors and ready to strike. Now they appeared throughout the alien formation, attacking from every direction at once. This is Wolfpack. Leader, Steve announced to his squadron commanders. All ships are weapons-free. Show them what human engineering can accomplish. The stealth ships opened fire with weapons designed specifically to counter Valtharian technology. Their energy beams passed through alien shields as if they didn't exist, while their missiles homed in on targets with perfect accuracy. Dozens of alien vessels were destroyed in the first few minutes of the attack. Dr. Nathan Brooks monitored the battle from his research facility, watching as his frequency disruptors rendered the entire Valtharian fleet helpless. Their ships couldn't coordinate with each other, their weapons couldn't lock onto targets, and their shields offered no protection against human weapons. "The disruption field is working perfectly," Nathan reported to Admiral Turner. "Every Valtharian system that relies on their standard energy frequency has been neutralized. They're fighting blind and defenseless." High Commander Zethkar tried desperately to rally his fleet, but his communications were being jammed, and his ships were being destroyed faster than he could count them. The species he had dismissed as primitive was demonstrating technology that surpassed anything in the Valtharian Empire. "All ships attempt to withdraw from the system," Zethkar ordered, hoping that some of his fleet could escape to warn their homeworld of the threat humanity represented. But Captain Steve Wilson had anticipated this move. His stealth ships had positioned themselves along every possible escape route, and now they revealed themselves to block the alien retreat. Massive human battleships appeared where empty space had been moments before. "No one leaves," Steve announced to the trapped alien fleet. "You came here to destroy humanity, and now you're going to learn what happens when you threaten our species." The battle that followed was not really a battle at all, but a demonstration of overwhelming human superiority. Every weapon the humans fired found its target, while alien weapons either missed completely or had no effect on their intended targets. Admiral Rick Turner watched the complete destruction of the Valtharian invasion force with satisfaction. 40 years of preparation had led to this moment, and humanity had proven that they were not the helpless species that other civilizations believed them to be. President Linda Carter stood before the captured Valtharian communication array, preparing to address not just Earth but the entire galaxy. The battle was over, and 50,000 alien ships now floated dead in space around the solar system. It was time for humanity to announce their arrival on the galactic stage. "Citizens of the galaxy," Linda began, her voice carrying across star systems through alien communication networks. "I am Linda Carter, President of Earth and representative of the human species. Today, the Valtharian Empire learned that humanity is no longer hiding among the stars. We are here, we are strong, and we will no longer tolerate threats to our existence." The message reached hundreds of alien worlds, many of which had never heard of humans before. Species that had cowered before Valtharian might suddenly learn that the feared empire had been completely destroyed by a single star system of previously unknown aliens. Admiral Rick Turner supervised the processing of Valtharian prisoners, ensuring they were treated according to human standards of warfare. Unlike their captors, humans believed in showing mercy to defeated enemies. The surviving aliens would be housed in comfortable facilities while decisions were made about their future. "How many survivors do we have?" Rick asked Colonel Beth Sanders, as they walked through the prisoner processing center. "About 30,000, Beth replied. "Most of them are from support ships that surrendered when they realized resistance was hopeless. We also rescued several thousand from damaged vessels that we could reach in time." High Commander Zethkar sat in a comfortable cell that was larger than many crew quarters on his own ships. He had expected torture or immediate execution, but instead the humans had provided him with food, medical care, and even entertainment systems. It was more humane treatment than his own species would have shown to captured enemies. Dr. Nathan Brooks led teams of scientists who were studying the captured Valtharian technology while also sharing selected human innovations with the prisoners. It was a calculated demonstration designed to show the aliens that humanity was superior not just in warfare, but in ethics and scientific advancement. "The Valtharian power systems are actually quite elegant," Nathan explained to his research team. "But they're based on principles that are at least 50 years behind our current technology. No wonder our weapons were so effective against their defenses. Captain Jake Morrison prepared for humanity's first official diplomatic mission to the Valtharian homeworld. His ship, the USS Horizon, would be accompanied by 12 captured alien vessels that were now flying under human command. The sight of their own fleet serving human interests would send a powerful message to what remained of the Valtharian Empire. "Are you ready for this, Captain?" asked Dr. Lisa Parker as she reviewed the diplomatic protocols they would follow. "We're about to make first contact with an entire alien civilization on our terms instead of theirs." Jake nodded as he studied the star charts that would guide them to the Valtharian capital world. "It's time the galaxy learned that humans don't ask for permission to exist. We take our place among the stars and defend it against anyone who tries to stop us." The journey to the Valtharian homeworld took 3 weeks, during which time the captured alien crews witnessed human efficiency and organization firsthand. The human naval personnel treated their prisoners with respect, while demonstrating technological capabilities that far exceeded anything the aliens had imagined possible. When Jake's diplomatic fleet arrived at the Valtharian capital system, they found a civilization in complete chaos. The government had collapsed when news of the fleet's destruction reached the homeworld, and various factions were fighting for control of what remained of the Empire. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earth Defense Force," Jake broadcast. "To the planetary authorities. We come in peace to discuss the future relationship between our species. We have with us 12 of your vessels and 30,000 of your people, all of whom have been treated according to the highest standards of civilized warfare." The response from the planet was immediate and desperate. The remaining Valtharian leaders begged for mercy and offered complete surrender to human authority. They had seen what happened to their supposedly invincible fleet and wanted no part of a continued conflict with humanity. Commander Helen Davis established the new protocols that would govern human interaction with alien civilizations. Earth would no longer wait for threats to develop before taking action. Instead, human patrols would monitor known space lanes and intervene whenever they detected preparations for aggression against inhabited worlds. "The galaxy is about to learn that humanity stands for more than just our own survival," Helen announced to the assembled fleet commanders. "We will protect any species that faces extinction from aggressive neighbors. The strong will no longer be allowed to prey upon the weak." This declaration sent shockwaves through galactic civilization. For thousands of years, might had made right among the stars, with advanced species conquering or enslaving their weaker neighbors. Humanity was announcing a fundamental change to the way the galaxy operated. Dr. Lisa Parker made a disturbing discovery while studying the deepest archives in the captured Valtharian databases. The empire that had just attacked Earth was considered a minor power in galactic terms, controlling only a small fraction of known space. Dozens of more advanced civilizations existed throughout the galaxy, some of which made the Valtharians look peaceful by comparison. "Admiral Turner, you need to see this," Lisa reported during a secure communication with Earth. According to these files, the Valtharians were ranked as the 47th most powerful civilization in the galaxy. There are species out there with millions of ships and technology that we can barely understand. Rick studied the galactic power rankings that Lisa had discovered, noting the civilizations that were marked as extremely dangerous. "Then we better start preparing for our next visitors. If word spreads about what happened here, some of those larger empires might decide to test us themselves." As humanity celebrated their victory and prepared to take their place among the stars, construction began on the first interstellar colony ship that would carry human settlers to distant worlds. The massive vessel would be armed with the most advanced weapons available and crewed by volunteers, ready to spread human ideals throughout the galaxy. Captain Jake Morrison accepted the position of colony ship commander, knowing that his mission would be to establish humanity's first foothold in the heart of galactic civilization. The ship's destination was a region of space where dozens of alien species maintained embassies and trading posts. "We're not just going to announce our presence," Jake told his crew during their final briefing. "We're going to show the galaxy that humans bring something new to interstellar civilization." freedom, justice, and the determination to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The colony ship Destiny launched from Earth orbit 6 months after the defeat of the Valtharian fleet. Its destination lay 300 light-years away, in a star system where humanity would build their first embassy to the galaxy. From there, they would monitor alien civilizations and ensure that no other species would face the threat of extinction that the Valtharians had planned for Earth. As the great ship disappeared into faster-than-light travel, President Linda Carter addressed the people of Earth one final time. Today begins a new chapter in human history. We are no longer hiding in our home system, hoping that hostile aliens will overlook us. We are taking our place among the stars as protectors of freedom and defenders of life itself. A galaxy will never be the same,